Ya Mulai Mehरबान, Ya Mulai Mehरबान, Ya Mulai Mehरबान, मदद फरमा, या मुलाए मेहरबान, मदद फरमा, मदद फरमा, या मुलाए मेहरबान, मदद फरमा, मदद फरमा, या रहमान या रहीम, या रहमान या रहीम, या रहमान या रहीम, या रहमान या रहीम। नूर मौलाना शाह रहीमुल हुसैनी हाजिर इमाम, हाजिर इमाम। तौफीक, ताईद, हिम्मत व यारी मौला। तौफीक, ताईद, हिम्मत व यारी मौला। या मौलाए मेहरबान, मदद फरमा, मदद फरमा। तमाम साथियों को या अली मदद एंड मुबारकबाद to all the Jamaats around the world for Imam Zaman's first Didar in Europe, in Paris, for some of the Jamaats of the Europe. Inshallah, Imam will come to your cities and in your countries. And Imam's Didar for the Mu'mineen is the most blessed day. There is nothing like having the Didar of the Imam for the Mu'min. We are all eager and we are waiting. While we are waiting, don't wait for that last moment, the last day or the last week to start your tasbiyat, your remembrance, your calling. Start today and start now. Ask Imam Zaman to come and give you the didar. Ask for it. Call him. Call on him and he will reply. Remember him and he will remember you. We are so blessed that regardless of the time and space, regardless of which country we are living in, every murid have opportunity sooner or later to have the didar of the Imam Zaman, inshallah. Let's come to our topic. Once again, I wanted to give Mubarakbad to the Jamaat. I cannot think of anything more greater and more pleasing to my heart and to my mind than thinking that soon we will have the Didar of the Imam Zaman, inshallah. Yesterday we had continued our concept of Imam in the Quran with the Farman of Imam ākhar Sulṭān Muḥammad Shāh Salawatullah alayhi. May our soul be sacrificed to their Imam. And how core principle of the Ismaili Tariqah is the recognition of the Imam zaman. Inshallah, we will continue today. We have the Farman in front of us, as we have read this yesterday. Today, we will take the takeaway points, the key 6 points that we took away from this Farman. And then we will talk about some of the Quranic ayat, inshallah. The 6 key principles to learn from the above Farman were: number 1, the principle of Nuran ala Nur. Imams are always and always Nuran ala Nur, one after the other. The father Imam, the son Imam, the son Imam, and the father Imam. This lesson taught us that if, for whatever reason, it could be due to the lack of knowledge, that we believe that Mawla Ali Murtaza was the first Imam ever, then there would be not only a mistake, but an ill concept on our part. Mawla Ali was the first Imam of the 6th cycle, after Hazrat Muḥammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But the core principle of Nuran ala Nur tells us that father Imam, son Imam. His father Abu Talib, his name was Imran, the son of Abu Muttalib. Abu Muttalib was Imam, Abu Talib was Imam, and therefore Mawla Ali was Imam, Nuran ala Nur. And after Mawla Ali, Imam Hussain, Imam Zain al-Abidin, and so on and so forth. We have 50 Imams as of today. Shāh Rahim al-Hussaini Hazir Imam Salatullah alayhi is the present and living Imam. And this continues one after the other. Nuran ala Nur. Imam, in one of his lectures to the Ummah, talked about how if only the entire Ummah would agree on one single principle of the Quran. And this ayat, Ayah Mizbah, from the Surah Nur, on the principle of Nuran ala Nur, the Nur after Nur, Nur after Nur, then there would be no division amongst the Ummah. There would be no branches, and there would be no further branches and sects, and there would be no different beliefs and tariqas. The reason for the branches and tariqas are due to not agree on this one core principle of the Quran. and that is Nuran ala Nur. Nur after Nur, and Nur before Nur. So that was the core principle that we found in the Farman above. The second, for the believers of the Imam. And what is that? The recognition of the Imam of the time. It is not that one believe in Mullah Ali or Imam Hussain or Imam Zain al-Abidin or Imam Muhammad Baqir, but believe. And after you believe, recognize the Imam of the time. Listen to this very carefully. Believing is one thing. Recognizing is another thing. An example, when at the time of the Nabuwat and time of Mullah Ali, a non-believer, kafir, would come and would accept the Islam. They will say, La ilaha illa Muhammadur Rasulullah. And with that, they would become Muslims. But that is just a kalima. By accepting the Islam. But the recognition of the Nabi and Asas, the Imam, had to grow, and their īmān had to grow, and their īmān must move forward by the recognition of the Imam of the time. And history tells us that those Muslims at the time who accepted Islam and accepted one God and the Rasul Khuda, when they did not recognize the Imam of the time, they were left behind. And now, after 1400 years, we can easily and clearly see how at the Ghadir Qum and during the 22, 23 years of Nabuwat, again and again, they fail to recognize the Imam of the time. To a common, Mullah Ali did not become Imam until and after Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa's demise. But to the person of ilm, person of understanding, those who understand the core principle of Nuran ala Nur, will tell you that Mullah Ali became Imam the day his father, Abu Talib, Imran alayhi salam, physically left this world, and he left his Nur and the Amr, the Imam of the time, with the Jamaat, the believers. Do you see that? Have you ever wondered, have you ever pondered on this thought, that was there a time ever that Imam was not present. And the amr of the Imam, the imamat, the seat, did not pass on from Abu Talib to Ali Murtaza. Do you see the difference between ilm and understanding and a common belief? Because common belief is nothing but a belief. But to realize and recognition is where the emphasis is put on and demands by the Imam Zaman. Each Imam's farman, those farman which are available to us today, and there are not many, but example, farman of Mullah Ali, farman of Huzur Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, farman of Imam Mustansibullah, farman of Imam Jafar Sadiq, farman of Imam Hassan, farman of Imam Ali Shah, farman of Imam Sulṭān Muhammad Shah, farman of Shah Karim Al Husseini. Each one of the farman, you will find one common phrase. And what is that? That you must recognize the Imam of the time. And that is the core principle of our tariqah. The third takeaway from this farman was, as back 1400 years ago, when the Nabuwat was ending and the Imamat would continue, there was a clear message, announcement, that he would be the last of the Nabi, last of the Prophet, and there would be no more Prophet after him. But then I would leave my wasi, my wali, the Mola, for you in the form of the Imam, and the seat of the Imamat and the guidance of Allah will continue through the Imam, and the Dore Imamat will continue until the time of Qiyamah. The Nabuwat ended, but the Hidayat, the guidance, did not. The prophecy ended as the sixth day was folded in, and the seventh day, the time of Qiyamah, was announced and predicted. And the seventh cycle, the Dore Qiyamah, would start soon after me. One of the hadiths that comes to mind, where Huzur Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, Ya Allah, prolong the day until an Imam comes from my progeny who will do the equality and justice in the world. And at the time of Qiyamah, when that Imam comes, he will declare the Qiyamah. So our third takeaway from this farman was the understanding of Dore ākhar, the time of Qiyamah. And Shāh, Sulṭān Muḥammad Shāh, Salawatullah alayhi, may our soul be sacrificed to the Imam, on the day one gave that farman. This is the end of the time. With that, the Dore Shariat ended and Dore Qiyamah began. The sixth cycle ended and the seventh cycle began. So what were the symbols, the prediction, the Farmane Ilahi regarding this time of Qiyamah? Have we seen or have we wondered? Did those predictions were fulfilled? There were three things under that. So the fourth takeaway was, in the time of Qiyamah, that everyone will see the miracles of the Imam. Everyone. Entire humanity. But then the burden of believing on this miracle was put on the spiritual children, the follower of the Imam. And within the follower of the Imam, there would be two kinds of mu'mineen. Those who will see the miracles and will believe in the miracles, and those who will see the miracles and will not believe in the miracles. Those with the mazboot, solid and complete īmān, those with half-hearted, incomplete īmān. A clear distinction between two of the murids of the Imam. There were two kinds of miracles in the time of Qiyamah. Physical miracles, which were visible to all the humanity, all the Ummah, and all of the Ismailis, the followers, the spiritual children of the Imam. Then there were spiritual miracles, which were not so visible, but they were apparent enough for those, and those only, who were paying close attention to Imam's farman, Imam's guidance. Then they also saw, along the side of the physical miracle, the spiritual miracles. So physical miracles and changes in the front of our eyes, whereas spiritual miracles and changes in the way Imam gave Isme Azam. That was the beginning of the spiritual miracles. In the quantity, abundantly, the Isme Azam was given to the Jamaat. And through their ibadat and through the obedience to the Amre Ilahi, Noor-e Khudawandi manifested Imam. In our ayat, we will talk about this once again. The itaat and submission to the manifested Noor-e Khudawandi. We will talk about that again under our first Quranic reference. So keep that in mind. I'm not done with that topic yet. The question, what changes or what changed physically and spiritually? What changed physically and spiritually? Yesterday we had talked about how the entire physical and material world changed in last 140, 50 years. In the time that began in 1877 and today 2025, approximately 150 years. In the 72 years of Shāh Sulṭān and 68 years of Shāh Karim, that makes 140 years. Where were we as a physical world? No electric, no automotive, no aerodynamic science, no atomic science. And where are we today? Technology, the revolution, the industrial revolution, and science has gone from 0 to 100 in such a short time, which was not done in previous 6,000 years. Isn't that a miracle? Do we believe in the miracles? Remember those two categories of the mu'mineen? Those who will see the miracle and those who will believe the miracles, and those who will see the miracle and those who will not believe the miracles. On which side of mu'mineen are we? That's a self-reflection question. Where do we stand in this? Of course, everyone, each one of you, every one of us have a free will to stand on one side or the other. And believe me, nobody is going to come and criticize you. And Imam not going to come and tell you, hey, why don't you believe in my miracles? Because he performed miracles on daily basis. You see it or not, does not matter to him. You believe it or not, does not matter to him. But miracles are happening. And miracles are so visible that only a blind person can refuse. Only a blind person can refuse. So what changed physically? We can see it is apparent, and those who believe, believe, and those who don't, don't. What changed spiritually? And I believe that is more important than the physical changes. Physical changes are there to help us understand and move toward the deeper understanding of the spiritual change. With the opening of the Ism-e-Azam in the time of our 48th Imam and continued in our 49th Imam, millions of Ismailis received Ism-e-Azam. And amongst those millions of Ismailis, hundreds and thousands of Ismailis practiced Ism-e-Azam. And a great spiritual changes came in the mu'mineen, which reflected back on the Jamaat. The few who succeeded in this spiritual practice of Isme Azam and Ibadat, then Noor and those spiritual changes reflected back on the Jamaat as a whole. Just like when a scientist discovers something, the entire humanity benefits from it. You see, that's our takeaway. That's our learning. The success of the one benefit all. As few or one of the mu'min spiritually was successful, then his success reflected back and benefited the Jamaat as a whole. And hundreds and thousands of murids practiced ibadat. And many succeeded in that ibadat. And then amongst them, if one or few even rose above that, then through them, by the amr of the Imam, the nur, the success reflected back on the Jamaat. Jamaat knowingly or unknowingly benefited from these spiritual changes as the humanity benefited from the physical changes. You see, when Imam says that your education will give you that ability to see the great creation of Allah, it will help you in understanding the creation of Allah. Just like that, if you are a person of faith, īmān, Isme Azam, Ibadat, then you will also see the spiritual changes. Otherwise, those who cannot see, it is not because it is not there. It is just that they have blinded themselves to the fact. Fact does not change. The truth does not change. So Allah said it is blind, not with the eye, but with the heart. Intentionally, they have closed their eyes, ears, and heart. They are blind intentionally, not by their eyes, but by their heart. Their īmān is not there. Their belief is not there, and therefore they cannot see. Why cannot they not see? Because they are not listening. On the day of Qiyamah, as God my witness, He will ask you one question, and He will complain to you. He will complain to you. Why did you not listen? Were you not listening? That's it. Allah will ask you, why did you not listen? Were you not listening? Because if you were listening, you would have heard me calling you. You would have heard me calling you on the way of truth, on the way of the Imam, on the way of the Nur. So who amongst you will help me on the way of the Imam? And only way that is possible when we listen, when we learn, when we understand, when we ask questions, then we will see things which before we could not see because we did not understand. And all of this is due to the īmān in your heart. You have said, I believe in Imam. But do you believe in Imam after recognizing Imam? Or do you believe in Imam superficially because your parents believed in Imam, because your family believes in Imam, because your friend believes in Imam, so you believe in Imam? Or do you believe in Imam by recognizing the Imam of the time? That is our subject, that is our topic. The recognition of Imam is the core fundamental principle of our tariqah, says Shāh Kareem al-Husaini, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. One with the Imam, the faith, is like the one with the eyes. And one without the Imam, the faith is like the example of a blind. Inshallah, none of you and none of us are blind, but we have full faith in the Imam Zaman, and we have a full understanding of the recognition of the Imam. And we truly see the miracles of the Imam in this time of Dore ākhar. So we will take only one single ayat today, because that is one of the takeaway above. And that is Surah As-Saf, Surah 61, ayat number 8, where Allah says, there are those amongst you who are trying to extinguish the Noor-e Khuda by their false argument of their mouth. If Allah is above all else, above the reach of the human, if Allah is Noor-e Mujarrad, unseen, untouched, ununderstandable, uncomprehensible, we cannot reach him. How can we blow his Noor? What kind of breath you would have? No one who believes in Allah trying to blow away his Noor. No one. Doesn't matter, regardless of what religion the one follow. If they believe in Allah, they believe in Allah. No question asked. Then which Noor are those amongst you who are trying to blow away? Our history tells us, from the time of Adam to time of Khatam, the people in every time and every age have tried to martyr the Noor-e Khudawandi in the prophets, in the Nabi'in, in the Rasul, in the Natiqin, in the Imams, because they can see them, they can touch them, and if it is available to them, they will martyr them. Have we not seen how Iblis came after the Adam, how Qabil came after the Habil, how the people of the time of Hazrat Noah tortured him and tried to martyr him, and how Ibrahim was thrown into the fire to kill him, and how Musa had to fight for his life and his people, and how they came after Hazrat Isa, and how they fought with Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa, Rasul Khuda, may peace be upon him, and how they martyred again and again 20 Imams after that. And what was the reason for that? Their false argument against the human, the one with the Noor e Khudawandi, so not believing in the Imam, having false argument against the Noor e Khudawandi, the manifested Hazir and Mawjood Imam. In the Quran, Allah have spoken about you. And what is that? That those who are amongst you are trying, with their false argument, trying to blow away that Noor, the Noor e Mujassam, the Noor e Imam, the Noor e Khudawandi in the manifested Imam. They are trying to extinguish that Noor by the false argument of their mouths. So please do read this ayat number 8 from the surah number 61. And here the Noor is mentioned twice. Inshallah, I will stop here and then we will continue on this subject in our next session next week.